It's alright.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max from a Borderlands 3 video, and today we're going over Iron Maiden Moze 4.0, my Iron Bear only Moze build. Now, the last time this thing was updated was 10 months ago. A lot has changed. It was a level 60 build. We didn't have Purple Tree. There's a lot of gear that we didn't have, so there's a ton to talk about today. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. I hope you guys find it helpful. If you do, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so for the format of this video, we're going to talk about the guns and gear first, and then we'll get into the skill tree, and there should be a little bar at the bottom of the YouTube video so that you can scroll to the area of the video that you want to learn about. Now, this build is very different than old Iron Maiden Moze because I wanted to do something different. I've made multiple Iron Bear builds using these augments, the capacitive armature, corrosive rounds. They're super strong, but there was a new class mod introduced in DLC 6 that turns the miniguns, probably Moze's worst or some of her worst augments, into absolute crazy damage dealers, and so we're going to be taking advantage of that. And the way we're taking advantage of that is with Moze's new class mod, the Heat Exchanger. Now, the Heat Exchanger is very unique for a few reasons. First off, it reads Iron Bear and Iron Cub gain up to 80% more minigun damage based on their weapon's heat level. aka, the more heat you have, the more damage they're going to deal. And this 80% is a fresh, brand new multiplicative damage increase that is a different part of Iron Bear's damage formula, aka this is giving you big damage increases. Big damage increases. The other thing that this thing can do is it can put multiple points into a skill in Moze's skill tree that is a 1 out of 1. I got 3 out of 1 into feature creep. This has been in the game for about like 2 months now. They haven't changed it, and it's going to give our Iron Bear damage even more damage and more damage resistance. This is going to help us lead to basically staying in Iron Bear forever and also getting a ton of damage while we're in Iron Bear. With the use of our rounds, we're going to be able to do entire sections of takedowns without ever hopping out of Iron Bear and be doing a ton of damage during it. So the best weapon you can use while in Iron Bear is easily a Dark Army. And the reason the Dark Army is so good with any Iron Bear build is because Dark Armies follow you around when you're holding this weapon. However, when you're in Iron Bear, it still counts as you're holding this weapon, and it allows you to get these like drones that follow you around and shoot for you even though you're in Iron Bear and typically you can't use your weapons. Now, what's so awesome and amazing about that is these Dark Armies are fire and will be constantly proccing running on fumes for us. Whenever Moze or Iron Bear ignites an enemy, Iron Bear does not consume fuel for a short time. We're also using Never Gonna Give You Up whenever we do a status effect. We also get fuel returned, so having these drones going around passively dealing increased damage for us and proccing our perks or our skills to keep us up in Iron Bear even longer without us actually having to really do anything is just so nice. The next piece of gear we're using is a Plus Ultra. The Plus Ultra is going to double our health, but not only does it double our health, it doubles Iron Bear's health. When we're using this thing, our Iron Bear gets around 2.7 million health in addition to all of its healing and damage resistance and its shield, because the shield is also spec'd off of the health. We're getting a huge shield, and it's basically impossible to die while in Iron Bear. In addition, we have the part of the Plus Ultra that's always on it. When you absorb bullets or when you take bullets, you can increase your action skill cooldown rate, and we're using after exiting Iron Bear kills increase Iron Bear's cooldown rate by 30%. Our weapon to get kills is going to be a free radical or a plasma coil. You need a strong weapon because we're not spec'd very well for using guns. A strong weapon like a free radical or a plasma coil with consecutive hits will allow you to get kills very quickly and get this 60% cooldown going so that you can get right back in Iron Bear. Next up, we're using a cloning hex. Now, the point of our grenade is we want it to be spawning while we're in Iron Bear and dotting things. This cloning hex or rad hex, you want it to be rad while Iron Bear is active, taking damage, has a 20% chance to spawn a grenade. This is beautiful because we're going to be in Iron Bear for so long. It's going to spawn these cloning hexes, which will seek out enemies and dot them. The reason we want them dotted is we don't really care too much about the damage, but we want them to be rad impacted. If they are dotted by rad damage, they will explode, increasing our clear speed time because those rad explosions deal a ton of damage, and we don't have as much AoE clear with the miniguns. So them being dotted is just going to help us clear faster. And lastly, your artifact is really up to you. You can use an electric banjo. The banjo procs while you're in Iron Bear. So you shooting your miniguns will proc the banjo. I did not discover this. I believe this was discovered by Lazy Data. So I take no credit for that. You can use a Snowdrift Victory Rush, is what I've been using a lot for like movement, or a banjo. You can even use an Unleash the Dragon relic, and when you stomp an Iron Bear, Unleash the Dragon will proc dotting enemies, keeping up more of your skills. There is a lot of options. The banjo, Unleash the Dragon, and like a Snowdrift Victory Rush are probably the coolest options to use though. But yeah, your relic is very much up to you. Now let's get into the skill tree, and we're going to talk about Purple Tree first because Purple Tree is the new tree being introduced here. Big surplus, tons of damage while you're out. I know this isn't great for an Iron Bear only build, but we really do need to kill things, and while we're cooling down, we're going to get so much damage from this. Really big guns for even more Iron Bear damage. Biofuel is very underrated. This is allowing us, even when we take a ton of damage as Iron Bear, to get all of our health and our ammo or our armor back. Very, very nice. Explosive Fury, status effect chance. We're really just here for the status effect chance. It's just 1 point trying to get down the tree. You can take this fired up and put it into Explosive Fury, but I do like being able to do fired up and get the fire rate going so I can kill faster. You do not need that many points, and they're never gonna give you up because of its diminishing returns. Just a few points here because you'll hit diminishing returns very quickly. So too many points in here is not a great idea. This engines for more maximum fuel and more cooldown rate is really, really great. Feature creep for Iron Bear damage, 72%, and Iron Bear damage resistance, even nicer. I believe you can get +4 into this skill, so you could get even more damage, but I've got a +3. Limit break for more action skill cooldown whenever we inflict a status effect. That's really nice. And then lastly, running on fumes. Whenever we ignite an enemy, we do not consume fuel for a short time. Next up, our blue tree. Now, we do not put any points in fire in the Skagden. The miniguns that I was using, I like using General Winter and let off some steam, one of each. I tried exploding bullets. Exploding bullets are really strong. They're really cool, but a lot of the times they just damage you. If an enemy gets up close in a takedown or a melee enemy gets in your face, if you shoot it, you will blow up your Iron Bear, just kind of losing all of your momentum. And because we're not using any splash damage, we do not need fire in the Skagden. Like, this would be nice, maybe 1 point here for our free radical, but I'd rather just get grizzled for even more cooldown, and then deadlines, drain less fuel, stainless steel bear for all of that extra damage, and then auto bear. Auto bear will just feed into getting more kills while we're on cooldown and allow us to instantly get back. Security bear for that big shield. It's going to be like a 1 million HP shield on top of our 2.7 million already buffed bear, which has healing. Armored infantry for gun damage, damage reduction, and then drowning in brass. Drowning in brass is really nice. I know it doesn't state it, but it does apply to your weapons. When you get kills with your weapons, your miniguns get drowning in brass. They will get even more damage, and it's just so nice. So drowning in brass is great for Iron Bear setups. Next up, Cloud of Lead, bonus incendiary damage and not consuming ammo. This is what will allow our guns to do fire damage, and we want that because we want to be applying those status effects. Stoke the Embers for more incendiary damage. Redistribution, this point really isn't needed. You can put this here, you cannot. You can put another point into match set, honestly. I don't think Daka Bear is worth here. This does not give Iron Bear damage unless you're actually manning it, so we don't want to jump into Daka Bear. I don't like doing that. So this point is just not worth. You can put this point into match set if you'd like, or just keep it in redistribution for a little bit more of that ammo regen. And then Scorching RPMs for a ton of Iron Bear damage, fire rate, critical hit damage. And then lastly, Specialist Bear, a must-have for any Iron Bear build. Equipping 2 of the same weapons on Iron Bear increases the damage they deal. Now, it just needs to be 2 of the same variants. For example, you do not need to have exploding bullets and exploding bullets to benefit from this. Using General Winter and let off some steam still counts for Specialist Bear. You're still going to get that 60% Iron Bear damage. And that is pretty much it for the build. Plus Ultra, Heat Exchanger, Banjo, Cloning Hex, and Dark Armies allow this build to do ridiculous damage. Now, I will say that if you don't want to use the Heat Exchanger, or you wanted to go back to like old railguns. You can use a Raging Bear or a Flame Com and swap to railguns, but I did think it was more interesting and more fun to use the miniguns because I really just never used the miniguns. And this class mod, the Heat Exchanger, is so strong. You can farm this thing from Seer. You can get the Dark Armies from Arms Race, the Plus Ultra. I'm blanking on Cloning Hex from Sky Bullies, Banjo from the Billies. Plus Ultras from Benedict. And yeah, guys, that is it for the video. I will catch y'all in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.